Chapter 5, Training Days, Part 2, Planning Ahead and Getting to Know Each Other. The morning after Gaia and Cricketina comes to Ponyville in Sweet Apple Acres. Apple Bloom quickly rushes over to the barn upon hearing that they've got a guest that isn't a pony. Applejack had just told her as she was asleep last night when Applejack had broke the news to the rest of the family, so she just heard about it this morning and was curious in meeting their guest. And she, of course, brought her friends Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, the founders of the club that help ponies find their special talents, the Cutiemark Crusaders, to check her out, but they have no idea what this will bring for one of them. They were peeking through the doors to find that Cricketina was just waking up when Scootaloo whispered as they snuck into the barn to take a look at her. "Wow, you weren't kidding. She's out. What is she?" "Obviously some kind of giant bug. I mean, look at those multiple eyes and feeler things," said Sweetie Belle, who was the one to point out the insect-like appearance. "Is she some kind of a changeling? Look at those rings on her belly." "No, changelings have a pony-like body, while she doesn't look anything like a pony," said Apple Bloom, who hasn't noticed, like the rest of them, that Cricketina had woken up and listened to a lot of stuff from their conversation. Applejack did mention that she has a similar look, but there's some huge differences. "Also, my species can't shapeshift," said Cricketina, to which Cutiemark Crusaders went, "Oh!" before going quiet. They then noticed that she was now awake and got off her bed and backed up as Cricketina went to sit on the edge of her hay bed to let out a yawn before folding all of her multi-arms as she looked at the three fillies. "Okay, I'm going to give you three a chance to explain yourself. I just woke up to three children in my face after a really nice sleep, so I'm not in the mood to have to call any pony. Also, I noticed that one of you mentioned the element of honesty. Are you acquainted with Applejack in any way?" "Yeah, she's my older sister," said Apple Bloom, before deciding to introduce herself. "I'm Apple Bloom. This is Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, and we're the Cutiemark Crusaders," shouted all three of them together, which made Cricketina wince. "Right, and why are you all here?" asked Cricketina, before they barged her with a bunch of questions. Applejack had come in when they were about late for breakfast to save Cricketina from a headache to say when she finds the three fillies in there. "Hey, Cricketina, breakfast is about. What are you three fillies doing here?" The three fillies explained themselves, and it was clear this was all Apple Bloom's fault, to which she looked shamed, so Cricketina said with a sigh, "Look, I don't mind answering the questions of eager little children's wonder, but may I ask this? How would you like it if you had a great night's sleep only to woke to a bunch of kids over you, examining your body while making silly references to other species?" This shut the fillies up, so Applejack said with a chuckle as she shooed them all out, "Okay, that's enough, all of you. It's time for breakfast, and I'm sure your folks are worried for you, and Granny Smith is wondering where you got to, Apple Bloom." "All right, sis," said Apple Bloom, but suddenly gets a gesture from Cricketina, so she comes over so they can have a private conversation. "What?" "If you're really curious about me, come to Twilight's Palace. I'm going to have a little discussion. It might interest you," said Cricketina, who had piqued Apple Bloom's curiosity, so she rushed off out of the room. "You know, I heard that," said Applejack as they walked towards her family's house together after Cricketina had folded up the blanket she gave her. "What are you trying to pull?" "You know, when I told every pony there's a member of their family who has a really high potential for wild magic?" asked Cricketina, and Applejack nodded. "Well, it's you, and your little sister is one with the potential. I want to make her my apprentice." "What?" went Applejack, who was about to protest this. "You can't just—" "I'm not about to take her on any wild adventures. I know she's too young to do anything, said Cricketina, while raising a finger from one of her forearms. Plus, I plan to get permission first before trying anything like that. We can discuss it when meeting with the others later. Okay, said Applejack, who was now having doubts about trusting Cricketina around her family.